Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Rapflex Radio. I'm your host, Kyle Rapp. Today's episode is all about morning routines, and if this is your first episode or 100th episode, hearing about morning routines because it is a widely covered topic, I'm going to give you a very unique perspective and maybe take a lot of guilt away from you as far as creating your own. So if this is your first episode or your 10th episode, thank you so much for joining me. If you would do me a favor, hit that subscribe button either on YouTube or on the podcast. Would not want you to miss an episode. Feel really good with the content development and the content creation part, and it's a system and it's a machine that is only improving and getting better. So definitely look out for consistent original episodes and interviews coming up here. So today, all about morning routines. And this is honestly something I am still tweaking and working on to this day, and understand you're not going to wake up one day and have everything figured out within your morning routine. And I'm going to dispel a lot of misconceptions when it comes to morning routines and things of that sort. But I just want you to remember that it's always about a growth mindset and improving upon what it is that you're currently doing and possibly adding or subtracting and playing around with it. Because ultimately, we want to start our day, whatever that looks like, in the best possible way for us to execute consistently, and that is really the only way we get to be an elite performer. So to dive into morning routines and the holistic value that it's going to give you, I alluded to this, but really the way you start your day, and either that first hour, that first 3 hours, it is going to impact the rest of your day, that 8 to 10 hours. Now, is it worth it to you, to your relationships, to your health, to your business, your craft, your sport, to work on the first hour to 3 to 5 hours? And I'll explain what that means, but mostly it's that first hour. Is it worth getting that right to have the subsequent benefit that happens because you have a great boot up sequence, as it were? And for me, this was a big game changer. And even though I do sort of struggle with it, especially in the wintertime, it is something that has really helped me stay consistent and executing. And that's what I want for you too. So that's why I'm covering this episode. I want you to execute consistently. And this is one of the best ways to know and have confidence that you're going to show up as your best self. And there's 2 books behind me, Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors, that are full of examples of what morning routines look like and routines in general of the best of the best. And that is also what I cover. So what most people do and common misconceptions. All right, if this is your first episode, understand when I talk about most people, it is not meant to attack anyone. I've learned this from Charlie Munger. It's risk aversion. It's understanding what not to do. And when we're talking about elite performance, top 5%, top 1%, I want to give you what most people do. And you might be currently doing these things, and I was too. Just understand that there is a new and better way, and that is my mission, is to A, give you awareness of that, and B, give you tactical and practical steps to have more clarity and control over your life. So the biggest problems with morning routines that I've seen is phones, email, and other people's priorities. There's a statistic that says 87% of people that own smartphones use it as an alarm, and immediately upon waking up dive into whatever notifications they've got. 87%. Now, that may not seem like a bad thing to you, but let me reframe it. When you do that, you are telling the universe and the world, other people come before me. let that sink in a bit. Does that feel good to you? Do you think, no matter if you're a CEO, you run a Fortune 50 company, do you believe that you are that important and that people need to get a hold of you right when you wake up at that second? Most of the time, the answer is no, correct? So when we understand that and we allow ourselves to be a little selfish in the morning, if you want to say it that way, I really think it is a way to become your best self and show your best self if you give yourself that first hour to 3 hours in the morning to show up as your best self for other people. What I mean by putting yourself first, like I said, 86% of smartphone users check their digital life upon waking up and then are immediately stressed out and putting other people first. And if this is something you do, I would highly suggest putting your phone in a different room. Like I do, I have it here near the kitchen, and I have an Alexa that wakes me up, so there's no light or red light or anything like that. I'll actually cover that in another episode dealing with sleep and all that. But really, I want to allow you to take back your focus, and especially within that first hour, I believe there are a lot of physiological and psychological things that you need to do to prep for a great day and to have a great day consistently. As I covered, email other people's problems, and that's email is, I was told this by Brendan Burchard, it is a filing system for other people's issues and I'll say nonsense most of the time. And is that really something you want to deal with the first hour, and to spike your cortisol and to put yourself in a basically fight or flight response immediately upon waking up? Or with the alternative that I'm going to give you and allow you to create your own, would you enjoy waking up more calm, more poised, more confident? Does that sound like something you would want? If your answer is yes, I'm going to cover this is the 2.0. If this is your first time listening to a morning routine episode, this is going to work for you too. But if you've heard these 50, 100 times like I have, there are some common misconceptions about morning routines that I did need to cover. One common misconception is they are only an hour long. And this was dispelled when I was listening to an episode with Michael Hyatt, who is well respected by me and a lot of other people in the space, with his Best Year Ever book and the Full Focus Planner and a lot of the things he teaches. He explains his morning routine lasts about 3 to 4 hours. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, I tend to do that. But I don't think I was giving myself permission to say, okay, I wake up at this time, and from this point to this point, let's say 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., like this is my time, and I'm going to do things over sort of a macro level. Whereas I was told most of the time it's only that first hour that you really need to plan out, and it didn't seem like it was enough time for me. And I go to the gym 4 times a week, so I have a training morning routine and a non-training morning routine. So the second part is where I'm going to remove a little guilt from you. Morning means 5 or 6 a.m. or you're lazy and undisciplined. And that's just not the case. Take Tim Ferriss, take Dave Asprey, take anyone who is a night person. They wake up at 9, 10 a.m., do a morning routine, just like someone who's getting up at 5 or 6, and then they're up till 2 or 3 in the morning. Quality of sleep is important. You need to understand who you are and your circadian rhythm, which I will cover later. But understand that it's very important to be honest with yourself and who you are, and to not wrap yourself in so much guilt if waking up at 5 and 6 a.m. is not conducive to either your lifestyle or who you are. There's actually a DNA strand that tells us what our preferable circadian rhythm is. And I won't get into that today. I just want to kind of relieve some. Now, 75% of the world would benefit from waking up with the sun and going to bed with the sun and possibly waking up beforehand. But I don't want you to feel like you're lazy or undisciplined if you're waking up at, say, 7, 8, 9, and you're staying up late and getting things done. You can start your morning routine at any time. I would just recommend having one. So this next one is must do certain things to be successful, and I put that in quotes. Whether that is meditation, whether that is journaling, whether that is pretty much anything I'm going to cover. There's a lot of preconceived notions of certain people have to have certain things to be quote unquote successful. And I have found working with clients and studying people that that's just not the case. Everyone has different things. I would recommend trying new things and making them a habit and then saying, okay, this isn't conducive to my life. Rather than maybe trying it once, twice, 3 times and saying, ooh, this isn't for me. I have a friend that wakes up and watches an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's nowhere in the how to make a morning routine, but it works for him. And it makes him, in a happy, calm state. And, that was something I did, not that particular show, but when I was growing up, I watched TV before school. And, just understand what works for you and take some of the advice that I'm going to give you at the end, but ultimately this is your life, and this is your decision to make. And basically I'm trying to remove some of the guilt that comes with morning routine advice and guidance. And lastly, there are seasons to life, just like there are seasons with the weather. You may find it very difficult, like me, to wake up at 5 a.m. during the wintertime when it's snowy and cold and below zero. I get it. And maybe shift to 7 or 8 a.m. when the sun is up and sort of tweak that. And in the summertime, crush it a little more and wake up a little earlier. Just, again, there are seasons of life and your body knows that. And just, because I'm telling you this because I beat myself up so bad for about a year for not waking up, and I had a coach that just believed in this so wholeheartedly, and I don't think that's a good thing, and I think that's very counterproductive to what a morning routine should be. So, goal of the morning routine is to prime yourself for the rest of the day and start to fire on all cylinders. And I sort of covered this. But for me, it allows me to have sort of clarity and control over how my days are going to go. I feel a lot better when I wake up, and I know I have that first hour that I really don't have to worry about anyone else. I can focus on myself. I can get in the right state of mind. I can go to the gym without any guilt, really. And it's really allowed me to show up as my best self, whether it is on the podcast, whether it is on coaching calls or anything of that sort. It's allowed me to gain a lot more confidence and clarity with myself, and that's exactly what I want for you too. So I'm going to give you steps to create your what I call the elite morning design and to show up for yourself, to show up for others. I'm going to show you my morning routine, what I would suggest you do to upgrade your morning routine, and then I will have a PDF for you. In the Flex Philosophy training course, I have a bonus section that has the episodes that I have PDFs for. And the only way you're going to get the PDF is to sign up for the free Flex Philosophy course. It is a 4-part video series that covers focus, learning, enthusiasm, and execution. And then on the back side of that, I have a special offer for you. But along with that, I have these episodes with the PDFs, and I'm basically wanting to create a community within that mini course. So that is why I decided to do that. And if you're looking to get support from other aspiring elite performers, you feel like you're going through this very alone, that is what the Flex Philosophy course and Rap Flex Nation, my private Facebook group, that's what I want to ultimately build. But that was a side tangent. Let's cover my morning routine. And this is the screenshot from the PDF. So I rise and shine, wake up at 6 a.m., no snooze button. That sometimes does not happen. Immediately make bed, pee, drink water and protein, and turn on the shower. 5 to 10 minute shower, meditate, pray, and get all my thoughts out. So that's kind of my meditation practice, if you were, because I can feel the water, I can hear it. There's a warm scent, and it's really a lot of all the senses coming in at once, and that's very, very helpful for me to kind of get all my thoughts out. And I've won so many arguments in the shower in the morning, and then I'm basically good to go for the rest of the day. So I'm out, dressed in my workout clothes, and I have my flash briefings play. So that is my Alexa morning routine. Pretty much tells me like what I've got on the calendar, and I've got it to, say certain things to me to get me inspired, if you were. And then out the door, and I actually need to add something to this. I do eat a yogurt right before my workout. And then I work out. I won't get into all these things. These are a lot of like emotional taglines, if you would, and it really helps me get in the zone when I work out. But in the context of a morning routine, feel free again to sort of make this into your own. But 2 is workout, so that lasts about an hour. 3 is recover, and I call this get your mind right, which lasts about 15 minutes. So I come back, take a shower, get dressed for work, and then I have what's called the mental conditioning period, where I review my daily and weekly design, and then I have a 2x10, which is 10 minutes of meditation and then 10 minutes of journaling. So I'm able to recenter on what needs to happen for the day, and then sort of put pen to paper of what my thoughts are when it concerns whatever I'm either going through or dealing with, or something that I'm trying to work out. And then from 9 to 10 a.m. is reading and research time. It is a way to constantly expand my knowledge, whether that is a book, a research article, sometimes it is a podcast or an audiobook. I believe that time is important to constantly understand new things, and that's what I'm always trying to do, and that's part of sort of the mental conditioning hour. And as you see, my morning routine's gone from about 6 a.m. to almost noon, so it's about 6 hours, but I have all of these laid out strategically. So after reading and research, I have my writing time block, which is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day. And honestly, I have not stuck to this as much as I want to. I've been getting up later, but this is a standard that I have set, and I'm working every day to get this to be consistent. And I want you to understand that too. It does take time. It does take improvement and tweaking and things like that. So after writing, I have a 12 to 6 time block where I work. And yes, I only work 6 hours a day, preferably. I'm able to get a lot done because I know best practices of focus and productivity and what needs done. I'm certainly not perfect at it by any means, but I have been able to see tremendous improvement by working in a dedicated and focused 6 hour period. Within that 12 to 6, I have a refuel period where about 2:30 I eat something very healthy for me. That's very subjective, but whether it's eggs, bacon, a salad, things like that. So that's kind of what I do in the morning. And every time I hear something, I can say, oh, I can try that, or try a new morning routine, or meditation routine, things like that. So my advice to you to upgrade your morning routine, I have 5 things that if you're not doing them, I would say give them a try, because a lot of the research says that these are very important and they are conducive to elite performance. First is affirmations, and I know that can sound a little foofy and up in the air, but understand that what we say out loud to ourselves starts to ingrain what we believe, and that affects our emotions, and then that affects our actions and ultimately affects our results. Affirmations aren't for telling yourself lies. Like, if you're here, I know you're working your ass off. And affirmations allow you to kind of take a step back, even if it's for 5 seconds, being a type A and always striving and always going after achievement and things like that. And like telling yourself that either you are grateful for the effort you're putting towards, or one of mine is like, I am blessed with the knowledge and the effort. I believe that those are equal to sort of the effort that I'm giving in the world. And that wasn't perfect. I do have that written down somewhere. But the point of this is to have a positive thought stream going on, and having time and dedicated to that process, because unfortunately we are bombarded with negative ads and negative images and negative social media and things like that. So if you can add this part, I think it's going to be helpful. Second part, journaling, and this has been extremely helpful for me, and it's basically just getting out my either thoughts or problems or frustrations. And I actually went back a couple months ago, and it was weird because there was something I was struggling with, and what it is isn't important, but I had a realization, and I said, "Wow, I was struggling with that at the time. Like, you're always gonna have problems. Tom Brady has problems. Tiger Woods has problems. That may not be the best example, but like, everybody has problems. But the point, I think, of life is to have great problems and to be able to figure them out as quickly as possible to get on to the next set of great problems." And journaling is a way to put pen to paper and to really work through those issues. And so they're at the top of mind, and they're not constantly rattling around in your mind. You've actually put it somewhere else. That's been extremely helpful for me. Third, planning. Whether you have a full focus planner or Brendan Burchard's, or you're a client of mine and do the weekly design, I have a free daily design in that Flex Philosophy course. Having clarity and control over what's going to go on in your day is very important. It takes away a lot of worry and stress and anxiety. It's not going to take it away, all of it, but it's going to allow you to say, this is what I'm going to need to do today, and this is how I'm going to best show up. And that's what a morning routine allows you to do. So if you can combine these two, I believe it's really going to help you improve over time and get what you want in life. The dreaded M word, meditation, and I think this has been dragged through the mud, honestly. But it's really a high performance tool, and it's basically stillness training or it's present moment training. If you can reword that and give it a chance, it's really blocking out all of the noise, whether that is in your own head or what's going on, and basically focus training on your breath, your a body scan, things like that, and it allows you to be better focused throughout your day. And that is all meditation really is. So if you've ever been weary of trying meditation, let that reframe sink in. And if it's something you want to add, I would recommend listening to 10% Happier, either listen or read. He comes at it from a very skeptical place, but it really changed his life. Lastly, read and listen to something inspirational. And this is where motivation and inspiration and those words kind of come into, like, we can program and set aside time to be inspired by other people. I wouldn't say rely on inspiration and motivation, but understand that you can have people you look up to, and those words, either consciously or subconsciously in your mind, to push you forward for the day. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So again, affirmations, journaling, planning, meditation, read and listen to something inspirational. If you're not doing any of those, if you're doing a few of those, if you're already doing all of them, I think there's a way to upgrade all of those as well. So, a challenge to use to create your own, and I have a couple of do's and don'ts. I wouldn't rush this process or beat yourself up for not waking up at a certain time or completing everything that you wanted to complete. That's really not the point of a morning routine. It's for you to show up as your best self. And I would say give yourself about 3 months to implement all the new additions that you want to make. I know 3 months sounds like a very long time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not when it's conducive for the rest of your life. So if you give selective attention to this process and you make little strides, little improvements over a 3-month period, that is going to allow you to make it a habit and into a routine and add willpower and quote unquote discipline when you don't have to think about it or it's unconscious competence. And that's what I really want for you, is to wake up knowing that you have this as not a fallback, but it's basically sort of armor that you're going to be able to put on and rely upon when the world is going to attack you, basically, because it will. Like you're going after something that most people don't dare go after. So I believe you need things that are going to aid you in that battle. So to wrap up, again, the purpose of a morning routine is to be your elite self consistently. And I want to, for those who have heard morning routines episodes constantly, I want to add this caveat. What can you automate and delegate within your morning routine? And this is going to help you a lot to stay more consistent with it. Can you lay your clothes out the night before? Can you quote unquote, make the water and the protein and prepare it the night before, stick it in the fridge, you know exactly where it's at? Can you lay out your gym clothes at night? Can you have your gym bag packed? Can you have that book that you are looking for inspiration for on the nightstand so it's ready? Do you have the phone out of the bedroom so you can eliminate a lot of what I talked about previously with putting other people first? This will allow you really to be more intentional about the morning routine, and I believe it will aid you a lot more within that process. So if you guys have any questions about morning routines, Kyle@rapflex.com. Please email me. I would love to hear from you. I would love for you to, again, create your own. I'll have the PDF in that Flex Philosophy course. It's free. Just sign up. You'll find the link in the show notes. And until next time, guys, have a great day.